So look, we're talking about Rigor, and you know, Rigor is the stiffness, rigor mortis is the stiffness of the body after life leaves the body. It takes about 8 to 10 hours. This is one of the hardest sciences we have because we know so much about it, right? We've been studying it for a very, very long time. And we know that about 8 to 10 hours is what it takes for Rigor to set in. There's also things that are indicative of you know, gravity taking effect, and they have an impact on Rigor, and that is wherever bodies, so if a body's lying flat on its side in a sleeping position, the blood will pool along, right? Gravity will pull it down along the right side of the body. But in this case, our victim, as we understand it, must have been lying face down because the blood pooled in places like her face, arms, legs, chest, things that are indicative, right, that she must have been placed in a face down position, and probably for quite a long time. Why that is important is because it throws into question the time of death and the allegations as to when she was buried in this park where they later discovered her body. The fact of it is that the Rigor evidence is an indicator that she must have been lying face down, and it must have been somewhere around the full 8 to 10 hours for Rigor to set in because of the way Rigor and the blood pooling had affected her body. That throws into question the time of death, which is 2:35 in the afternoon, buried at 6 to 7 p.m. It means it's more likely than not that she was buried at 10 or later, 10 p.m. or later. That's my understanding of what these questions are raising. And then, of course, we have all the issues related to Jay the Snitch, the cell phone, and then on top of all that, the victim's body did not really show, as I understand it, enough animal activity or decomposition activity to indicate that it was there for the length of time the prosecution said. So, and there's more, right? As I understand it, there's some evidence that the victim's car might have been moved, and that when you take all of that together, you know, the state is essentially conceding we've got some questions of our own, some unanswered questions of our own, and there's nothing wrong with some DNA retesting, because one way or another, it's going to either lock in the sights on Syed, or it's going to show whether or not there's another participant or maybe even an alternate perpetrator. And what's wrong with answering those questions? So I commend the prosecutors in that case for doing an agreed joint motion for DNA testing. Let's get these questions answered.